Yes, indeed. Happy Valentine's Day, Monday morning, 7 a.m. I'm telling you, man, it doesn't get better than this right now. Yeah, we had some technical difficulties, just a few this morning, but that's okay. That's okay. Stick with us because we're going to be talking the power of bonds, relationships, this Valentine's Day. What it takes to be able to get yourself in a healthy place. Start off right. Yeah, it's worth it. Stick with us. 50 seconds with you this morning, this beautiful Monday. Right here, Kinsley Jordan, your winning coach. Winning in the morning. Seventeen seconds. That is right. I am so happy to be with you this morning. Top of the morning, it is 7:09 Central Standard Time. If you're watching this later, so sorry, but the people that are watching live right now, you probably want to know what time it is. I would say that's a pretty good thing. But you know what? Listen, it's Valentine's Day, in case you didn't know. Yeah, it is 14th of February. I literally cannot believe it is already Valentine's Day. I cannot believe it. But you know what? Really excited about it for multiple reasons. Because when you think about what Valentine's Day is and you think about the opportunity of what it is to be able to celebrate the love, the hope, the encouragement that we got in our family and our friends and the people that we care about, listen, this is a great day to be able to start off fresh, new, and dive into something I'm going to tell you is honestly really important. It really is. Because we're talking about the importance of bonds, the bonds of love. That's right. And it starts off very simple, very just pretty much straightforward, I'm going to say. So when you think about this, because listen, it's already 7:10. We got to get after it this morning. When you think about what it actually means to stop and care and what that love actually is, because on Valentine's Day we're not only celebrating, Valentine's Day for me, we'll just go back a second. Valentine's Day for me is always something. My mom would start off with a Valentine's Day gift. I don't know what y'all did. Would love to hear if you're watching live. Throw it in the comment section. Did you guys start off with did your parents ever do a gift? Was it a Valentine's Day gift? How did you guys celebrate? What normally is that, or is Valentine's Day, has it not been a big deal to you? Would love to be able to hear from you what that is. But for me, my mom would start off with a gift. It'd be like a Valentine's Day gift, and then we'd do a dinner or something like that when I was younger as a kid. And then I basically took that mindset of what that was to pretty much to the rest of my life. Every other time where I thought there was a relationship that I wanted to celebrate, i.e., you get married and you have kids, and then we do a Valentine's Day gift. But the really thing we're celebrating is the love that we have, the relationship that we have, the value that we have. And really, when you think about it, here at the Winning Network, when Winning in the Morning, we're all about getting you to think differently about your day-to-day, to be able to get you to a place where you are loving the process of growth and not just getting focused on the end state of a goal. Because if you don't appreciate the process of getting there, then you're never going to enjoy the destination once you arrive. I've said this before. This isn't anything new for me or you. So when you think about how is it that you actually show that love? How is it that you actually engage with the people that you love the most? How is it that you actually spend time and focus with those that are so critically important to your life? How is it that you demonstrate that? How is it that you appreciate and recognize these bonds of love? And we're actually going to start from the end state that some people start off with first. So there's many people that I talk to. There's many people that I talk to that when you are starting off in a place where maybe your relationship is rocky, as a pastor, as being involved in business, you see a lot of people in a lot of different places. You see a lot of people going through a lot of different things. And with that, when you have a lot of people going through a lot of different things, a lot of times they'll look at the relationship and say, it's not going to work anymore. Well, okay, so why is it? If you have been in a place where you've been in a rocky relationship, maybe you've been divorced, maybe you're going through that right now, and you say, Kinsley, Valentine's Day is not something that I want to celebrate. All it is a reminder of what is not, of what I don't have. This is what I want you to think about right now. One, first off, you need to know this. All is not lost, because the importance of bonds and the importance of relationships and the importance of being able to recognize and to be able to grow actually does not begin with the other person. Ooh, that's painful. It actually has nothing to do with the other person. And I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you this real quick right now. Here in this second, I'm actually going to pull it up as I'm talking to you. It doesn't have anything to do with the other person. It doesn't. It has everything to do with you. Now, why would I say that? If you're watching live, let me know where you're watching from. I want to know. Happy Valentine's Day to you. Throw it in the comment section. Would love to be able to hear from you this morning. You can catch Winning in the Morning Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every single week. We love being with you today. We're talking bonds of love, the importance of relationship. But okay, let's get back to it. Kinsley, why am I saying this morning that has nothing to do with the other person? And I can already hear it now. People are like, what are you talking about? It has nothing to do with the other person. You don't understand what the other person is like. You don't understand what they do. They're the problem of the relationship. Hold on. Hold on before you start throwing your shade. Speaking of shade, there's no shade. There's a lot of shade. What am I saying? There's a lot of shade over where Coral Stadler is watching from. Coral, so good to be able to see you this morning. Happy Valentine's Day to you and yours. So glad to be able to have you. Thanks for joining us. Coral is one of the early proteges of the Winning Network. Took the Balance Life course. You can ask her all about it. Again, thanks so much for watching for Winning in the Morning Show. You can watch. It is so interesting to me. Those people who have gone through the Winning Network or the Balance Life course, or even just been following us for a while, they see the value because their lives are changed. So, Coral, thanks so much for showing up. Thanks so much for being with us. Wherever you're watching from, you may not be able to see the comments if you're on Clubhouse or another audio app, because we are live with Winning in the Morning. So sorry you're not seeing the comments, but I'll do the best I can to be able to show them to you. But let's get back to it real quick. I was talking about with the bonds, with what the importance of those bonds look like, and saying that it doesn't start with somebody else. This is why, because I'm pulling this up right now so you can see it. If you're not with us, let's see. If you're not with us, there we go. Why do I say that this is the case? Is because this little diagram shows you the importance of this. And then I got a video that I want to show you from workshop we just recently did. A workshop, it was at World Harvest Church, and it was talking bonds. And specifically in this video, we talk very much about my faith and what those other believers of faith are, and what that looks like. For you may not have the same belief that I have. That's fine. I'm not saying you have to have the same belief. But what I will say is that for me, my faith is undeniable. I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. There's too much evidence for, not enough evidence against. I have no doubt, and I got no shame about it. And that's okay. You don't have to have the same belief. But the baseline of what we're talking about today really goes back to this very same principle. For me, it begins with God at the center, and me and God was a relationship. Whether you have that belief or not, whether you say, hey, I don't believe in God at all, Kinsley, I don't know how this applies to me. Here's the deal. It goes back to the same exact thing that I was mentioning, same exact thing that I was talking about, same exact thing that I was mentioning earlier, was the very fact, the very idea that a great relationship does not begin with the other person. It begins with us. It begins with us at the center. This is why. Is because when you focus on, good morning, Mike Hoffman, by the way. Great to see it. When you focus on starting in the center, for me, starting in the center means it's God. God is at the center. This is my concentric rings of importance. And it's not to say my family's not important. They are, Sarah, they are so crazy important to me. But this is what's so important is that there's a verse where we talk about love the Lord your God with all of your soul and mind. And love your neighbor as yourself. I'm going to pull that verse up here in a second. This is what this is saying. If you are not able to love, and again, if we have different beliefs, that's totally fine. I'm just talking from my perspective. If you're not able to love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and all your strength, and love your neighbor as yourself, this is where it starts from. It doesn't have anything to do with anybody else. It has everything to do with you being able to put the focus on, as my pastor says, draw a circle around yourself and take care of everything inside of that circle. If you will focus on everything inside of that circle, if you will focus on everything that is inside of that circle, meaning you, the circle's drawn around you. If you will focus on everything that is inside of that, then you're starting off in the right place. And this is why. Is you look at this, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're watching from. If you look at this diagram right here, you'll see at the center of the target, at the center of the ring, and think about this. This is kind of a bad diagram, but think about this as a baseball, as a sphere, right? There's layers. There's a core to this baseball, and at the core of that baseball, if you took the core out of a baseball, if you took the center out of the baseball, and you try to hit it with the baseball bat, I tell you, well, you know what's going to happen? I'll tell you what's going to happen. It's going to collapse. The ball is going to collapse. So many times, we take the center of our relationships, which is taking care of everything inside of that circle, which is ourselves and our relationship with God. So many times, if we don't have God at the center of our relationship, who teaches us who love is, and when I say at the center of the relationship, I'm talking about your relationship with Him. If you don't have God at the center of your relationship, of your belief about yourself, of your knowledge about yourself, of who you are, then how is it that we ever actually learn what love is? Because it says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, spirit, soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. If you're not able to love God, the one who teaches you what that love is, then how is it that we are ever able to love our neighbor as ourselves? This is why I say this. God teaches us to love ourselves because of what He declares about us, what He declares about us, over us, through us. He's our creator. Now, again, this is why I say we get to a difference of opinion, because some people, I had many clients who were nervous about coming on with the Winning Network because they said, listen, I know I've looked at your stuff. I know you're a pastor. I know you have faith. Here's the deal, man. I'm atheist. I don't believe in any of that stuff. So if this is just going to be a religious thing, I'm not interested. My response to that is, good, I hate religion too. My focus, my faith is all about relationship because my relationship is founded with a God who loves me and is crazy about me. And literally, He looks at me and He sees His greatest creation. So I hate religion too, because religion is what crucified Jesus. And I'm very thankful He died for my sins. However, I'm not about religion either. I'm about the relationship that I have with my Savior. But I understand what you're saying. We don't have the same beliefs. That's totally fine. I don't have any issue with that. I'm going to love you just like Jesus loves me. But I can't change the fact that everything that I teach you, this is talking to my clients, everything that I teach you about the 5 Bs and everything we talk about in the Winning Network is based upon an understanding that you are loved by a creator. And as long as you can acknowledge that you didn't create yourself, and as long as you can acknowledge that you did not will yourself into existence and you're just this amorphic blob that just happened to show up somehow on earth, as long as you can acknowledge that you didn't create yourself and that somehow there is intelligent design to who you are and what you're about, then we can work together. And this is why, is because in order for you to be able to walk boldly into a loving relationship, you have to realize that your example of what love comes from does not come from your parents, and doesn't come from daddy issues, and it doesn't come from mommy issues, and it doesn't come from stepmom, and it doesn't come from stepdad. Because there's a lot of people, if I can be 100% blunt, there's a lot of people who have had broken examples of love in their life from their parents. I mean, you have people, as a youth pastor, I saw crazy things. I saw just heartbreaking things. I saw people go through things where they were abused by their parents, the people who are supposed to be an example of what that Christ-like love is, but instead they were sexually abused. for the majority of their childhood. I mean, people look at that and say, Kinsey, what does this have to do with the bonds of love and relationship? This is why. If you focus your foundation of understanding what love is upon a already broken foundation, then don't expect to get anything other than broken relationships later. Oh, that's painful. Kinsley, that's painful on Valentine's Day. Why are you saying this? I'm saying because I care about you, and I need you to know that if you are asking yourself, gosh, I don't understand why, I don't understand, Kinsley, why I'm going through this, or why my relationships turn out this way, then ask yourself, what is the foundation of what your understanding of love is? If your foundation of what love is comes from an already broken, shattered example, it's probably a bad example, and you probably should not replicate that in your life. Just an idea. But this requires you actually going and asking the hard question, which is this a good example for me to be able to follow? Is this a good example of what actual love looks like? And this is why on Valentine's Day at 7:23 Monday morning, February 14th, 2022, the 2022nd year of our Lord, Jesus Christ. This is why I tell you this, is because what is your example? What is your foundation of what love actually looks like? If you care about celebrating what love is, then you would better have a good example of what that is. And this is exactly why I refer to this example right over here. This is exactly why I talk about this being the main target. Look at that. Over on the screen. If you're watching on one of the audio apps, you're not going to be able to see it. What I'm pointing to is the center target, God and you. Everybody wants to do this. They want to jump to this outer ring. Yeah, Kinsley, but you don't understand. My spouse does this, and they just don't. I can't believe they did this. No. If you want to have serious growth in your relationship, you got to go back to the center of you and God. What is it? And the center part of this. A center part, if you're saying, Kinsley, I don't believe in God. Okay, for you, if you're not a believer in Christ, I have nothing against you. If you're not a believer, then I would ask you this. What is it that you have based your foundation and example of love upon? And if you are basing it upon an example that is not unconditional, if you're basing your example of what love is upon something that keeps a record of wrongdoings, if you're basing your example upon something that is continuing, oh my gosh, look at this little love bug coming in, talking about Valentine's Day. Oh, look at this. Look who I got with me right now. Oh, he's live. Look. Happy Valentine's Day. Come on here. Come on. This is what I'm talking about, is when you have, let's go to the white shot. This was unplanned. I did not plan on doing this, but you know what? This is the beauty of what relationships are. If you have an example and you're living off an example of love that is not founded in being unconditional, is not founded on being endless, is not founded on having a record of keeping a record of wrongdoing, if you have an example and that's what your love is built upon, listen, you're building upon a broken foundation, guys. Oh. Hey, love you. Happy Valentine's Day.
Love you.
Love you.
Happy Valentine's Day. I love you.
Love you too, buddy.
Love you, Daddy.
Okay, see you in a second, kiddos. Don't be sorry. It was awesome. Oh my gosh, that was so cool. Oh, it's about as live as it gets, for real. Thanks for joining. If you're watching on an audio app, I mean, that was probably the best part of it. That was probably the best part of the entire show. What you missed is my kiddos came in surprised me, and my wife was like, "Oh my gosh, sorry, I didn't know you were live." Totally fine, man. This is here in the Jordan household. We roll live and we just go with it. If it happens, it happens. Oh, it's so good. But this is the baseline. If you're not basing your relationships, if you're not basing your love of what this looks like off of something that is unconditional, never ending, doesn't keep a record of wrongdoings, doesn't constantly find the negative in you. If you're basing your relationships off of something that doesn't do those things, then you're basing your relationships off of an already broken foundation. You are building a house, as the Bible talks about. You are building your house on shifting sands and not a rock, not a foundation. And this is why, for me, I go back to, you have to draw a circle around the things that are there. Draw a circle around yourself and take care of everything inside of that circle. Today, if you want to build a strong relationship, maybe this morning you and your spouse already got in a fight. Maybe you're sitting on the end of a divorce right now and saying, well, thanks, Kinsley. I actually hate Valentine's Day because it's only a reminder of the painful times. Listen, no. Don't put yourself in that space. Don't put yourself into a space where you're already thinking negative, and Valentine's Day is a negative connotation. For you, if you're single right now and you're on the other end of this show and you're saying, Kinsley, I'd hate Valentine's Day for these reasons, I want you to stop for a second. I want you to do this. Don't make Valentine's Day about the past hurt. Make Valentine's Day, make the focus of today about the hope of what your future love is going to be. And I'm talking about if you don't have future love for yourself and love who God has made you to be, then how is it that you're ever going to be able to love somebody else? How is it that you're ever going to be able to have that love for anyone else or anything else? How is it that you're ever going to be able to do anything outside of live in the hurt and the regret of the morning? Taryn, good morning. Evan, good morning. I gotta throw this up there. We got people watching from all everywhere. Taryn, good morning. Taryn Gavitt, one of my buddies, one of my good friends' wives. She's out there probably working this morning, I would imagine. Top of the morning to you. Also, we got Evan Neal watching this morning as well. Winning in the morning. So glad to be able to have you. And this is why I go back to it. You have to get back to the foundation. You have to get back to the center of what your example of love is. And again, that starts with you. It doesn't start with your spouse. And I know there's several people today that are saying, Kinsley, Valentine's Day is hard. I actually hate it. Listen, so we hate these things because it's a reminder of what has been. But I would encourage you today, allow Valentine's Day to be a reminder of, yes, what has been, but not of what you have lived. Let it be a reminder of the love that God created in you. Valentine's Day to me is not just loving on my family and a gift, and giving the kids and the kids coming in and hugging and loving on me. It's not just that. Valentine's Day is a reminder of the unconditional, unending, unstoppable, unprecedented love that God had for me when he looked at me and my madness and just the insanity that I am in my life, the insanity that I am and the person that I am. When he looks at me, he saw something good for some reason. I don't know why. I still wonder, and someday I'll ask him when he gets to heaven. But he saw something good in me and he said, you are worth saving. That's what I celebrate on Valentine's Day. It doesn't matter if you are broken or you're in the middle of a divorce. It doesn't matter what type of relationship it is. It doesn't matter if you're sitting on the other side of that. Maybe you're sitting in a place and you're saying, listen, Kinsley, I'm on my 4th or 5th or 6th marriage. Guess what? It doesn't matter. Valentine's Day can still be celebrated because when you're not focusing on the other person and you're focusing inside, you get to focus on the love that does not stop, the love that left the 99 and came for you. And that love that I'm talking about is Jesus Christ. And again, if we have different opinions and you say, Kinsley, I don't believe in that, that's totally fine. I would ask you, what is the unconditional love that you are founding your relationship and your life on? And if the answer to that is, well, I've never had anybody who's shown me unconditional love, then maybe you should consider meeting Jesus, because that's who he is. And I don't mean that in a hostile way. I mean it in a real way. There's been so many times I've been let down by my expectations of people, and I've put my faith in individuals in the flesh only to be let down. I'm also one of those people. I let people around me down all the time. Not that I intend to, but I'm a human. I make mistakes. I do things that are not perfect. But this is why I say this is so important, is because that unconditional love of what God shows us on this Valentine's Day is the perfect example of who we are supposed to be and how we are supposed to reflect that love and light. And this is what I want to be able to show just for a second. Again, it was at our workshop. If you didn't have a chance to watch this, I'd highly recommend you watch it, because this is why I say there is so much more benefit to you focusing on the love, the unconditional love of who God has created you to be and what he says about you, there's dividends that will come back. It's the greatest investment you can ever make. If you're a financial investor, you're stupid not to invest into the love that God has poured into you, because it is something that has returns that you have never, ever seen before. So I want to be able to play this video real quick. I want to be able to show this. This is from a workshop that we did. It was a workshop at the All In Conference, World Harvest Church. If you're not familiar with the World Harvest Church, I'm one of the pastors there, which is just awesome. Absolutely love our team. Love the pastoral staff, love everybody. It's just awesome. So here, I'm going to blow this up for you to be able to see this, the All-In Conference Day 2. Here it is. I'm going to go ahead and play this for you because we're talking about exactly this. Here we go.
Tomorrow, 10% better than you function today, your marriage grows. It's better already. Without your spouse doing anything.
That's right.
Your marriage is better if you commit to being better tomorrow than what you did today.
Amen.
Now, if everybody in their relationship did that, man.
It's true.
That's
true.
Changing.
It's true.
Our kids change. Our community changes just by changing how you function within your marriage.
That's right. That's right. By focusing, to me, on these two internal circles, is that focusing on who God is and our perspective of Him. Because sometimes, if you've been raised in religion, you have a screwed up perspective of God. Yeah. I'll say it, because I was raised in religion, and I did not actually know who God was because I had a screwed up, skewed perspective of what I was taught out of religion and not relationship. I didn't know what the bullseye looked like. I had no idea.
I'll applaud myself.
I had one idea, and it was completely different. But when you get an understanding of who God is, and it goes back to this verse that's on there. In bonds, just to clarify, we're talking, it's broken down by this: God, you, spouse, family, friends, network. And by network, what I mean by that is business, associates, people you know, friends from high school, like kind of the peripheral, if you will. And this is one of the things that's so important. You see this on the diagram, you see this ball. Think of a baseball. Think of a baseball, right? You have this, I don't know if you can zoom in. Where are we at? Over here? Over here? Straight ahead? Yeah, there it is. If you can zoom on that, I don't know if they can see, or maybe you can just throw it up there. It's in the workbook. You have this three-dimensional ball right here. And if you think about a baseball has a core, right? Golf balls have a core to it. It has something central. It has a core. What would happen if you took the core out of that ball and tried to play the sport? The ball would collapse. Yeah. It didn't make any sense. If you take the core principle of the ball, the thing that is literally the support structure for the rest of the ball, and you take that out, you'll get one, maybe two swings, and the baseball's collapsed. And it's of no purpose and no use anymore. But in our life, what we try to do is we try to shore up this second ring of yourself and say, well, kind of like Brittany was talking about, well, I'm good enough and I can do this myself, and blah, 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 blah. And just as we previously said, you may be able to hold that, you may be able to do that for a little bit, but as the pressure of life presses down, as the pressure of situations presses down, until you have a solid core that is indestructible, impenetrable, and won't move, you will eventually collapse. Eventually. If we don't get that core right. This principle, going back to the verse in your handout, you can see it on there, but it's talking about Luke 10:27. It says, love the Lord your God with all of your heart, with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and with all of your strength, and with all of your mind. And then it says, and love your neighbor as yourself. There's an example I love with this that is so important to bonds, is because as you focus internally, it says to love the Lord your God with all of your heart, your soul, all of your strength, and your mind. Love it with everything. Everything that the 1 Thessalonians 5:23 is talking about. Love the Lord your God with everything that you got. The whole person, right?
Yeah.
That's step one. And then step two, it says, and then love your neighbor as yourself. You know what's interesting about that is this. I have this
Here it is.
It's really,
love
really
this
good.
example.
It's really cool. If you don't like it, tough. Sorry. Get these water bottles. In our life, we have us. We have our capacity of what we're able to do. It's a cup. I wish it was clear. It's not. It's red. Deal with it. Sorry. It's red cup. And in our life, sometimes we have our abilities and skills of what's already in there. You can't see it, but it's filled up to about here right now. And what we'll do is we'll come to church and we'll allow God to pour into us just a little bit. Be like, oh, God, that's good. And then during the week, we go out to work, and we pour some into work, and we pour some into our friends, and we pour some into our family. I should be going this way. We pour some into our spouse. We pour some into our kids. And then Sunday we come back. We're empty. And then we wonder why our life is falling apart. The funny thing is that what God intended, what he says in this is love the Lord your God with all of your soul, your spirit, your mind, your strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. You know what that means? There's a reason why he says he's the everlasting water. It doesn't end. Because even if you are empty and God pours into you, it's just like this. Here's the interesting thing, is that as God is pouring into you, he's pouring in and he's loving on you. But as long as you stay connected, eventually, he will keep you full and get to the place where you actually believe what he says about you. And the thing is about this is that this cup doesn't care whether the water is overflowing. It just cares that it's full. But it makes a difference.
Yeah.
And as God pours into you and he pours over you, here's the thing, is that when he pours into you, when you love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and that's those central two circles of God and you are full and whole and complete.
Yeah.
And it's indestructible. You start having an impact elsewhere. I'll show you that here in this next example. I know you got something to go.
Well, and our responsibility is to pour into other people from our overflow.
That's right. That's it.
If we're ever operating from an empty or a half empty or just a quarter, then we're not operating from a place where God has called us to be. If we're only receiving what God has for us an hour a day, a week, once a week, then we've gotten, excuse the language, but a bastardized version of what the gospel is talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
And we should never reduce God, because again, as when we go out into the world, we're a reflection of who God is as we go out. And if this is what we're presenting to the world, no wonder we have an entire generation that's rejecting it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's good. Amen. Drop the mic. Walk out. It's done. I mean, it's true. It's out of the overflow. And here's the next part. Is the next part of that verse that says, "And love your neighbor as yourself." How can you love your neighbor if you don't love yourself? And this is the hard part I was having. And to be 100% transparent, this is why after worship, you wouldn't see me greeting anybody when I didn't believe in myself and I didn't like how I looked and I didn't think who I was, because I didn't believe in who I was and I didn't want to talk to anybody because I didn't feel whole. And I know what the Bible says.
Yeah.
So it would leave. So how can you show the love of God if you don't know? He says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, spirit, and soul strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. But here's the deal. You cannot love your neighbor as yourself if you see a lot of sin and darkness. I don't know if I have enough water for it. There may be a lot of sin and darkness in this, but as God keeps pouring into you, what happens to all the bad that was once there? Not only does it start purifying you, not only does it wash out what once was dark and broken, but it literally, that clarity, and you can say, well, yeah, but look at all the residual. Yeah, look at all the residual. Look at the impact that God is having when you get the priority. This was full of pure sin soy sauce. Pure sin soy sauce. But look what happens when you attach yourself to the source that doesn't stop pouring out.
And the reality is, when it's not a pitcher of water, that water's still flowing when you're tapped in. It's never going to, as long as you're tapped to the source.
Yeah.
That pitcher is finite. God isn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He's the beginning and the end. That water will keep flowing, and every one of those cups can be made clean. But the reality is, as long as we're the pitcher, as long as we're only getting a little top off on Sunday mornings, we're never going to be enough to be an impact to every one of those areas that God has called us to have an impact on.
If you're not full, your marriage, this is why it's a stack like this.
Here it is.
First, you got to get poured into, because out of the overflow of you and God's relationship at the top, will impact and start purifying and clarifying your relationship. Here's the thing I love. At the end of that verse where it says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, spirit, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself, there is no second part of that where it says, and they will love you back.
Oh, boom. I'm going to pause there because this morning, this is what I want you to know. This is what I need you to know, is exactly what that last part was. Is that when we get that right, when we get it centered up and focused, do not let Valentine's Day today be something that is a hurt from the past and a reminder of what was and what is broken. Instead, today, I want you to allow it to be a reminder of the original past, of what God did for you, of what Jesus did for you, of what that unconditional love actually is. Evan I love that. I love what he just threw up there. Unconditional love is not based upon responses. Brother, 100% true. When we know what that unconditional love is, when we know what that unstoppable love is, when we have that founded correctly, what it actually says about us, what it actually says is listen, I'm going to focus on pouring out because God is pouring into me, and the overflow of my heart, the overflow of my love is what pours out to everybody else. It pours out to my relationships. It pours out to my kids. It pours out to my spouse. It pours out to everybody else. It pours out to everything else. It pours out in every other direction that is there. It pours into everything else. And that's what's so critically important that we got to realize. This Valentine's Day, do not let, I'll share this again. Do not let the past destroy today, but instead allow the love from the past, the love, I'm talking about Jesus, the unconditional love of who he is. Allow that love today to change, to transform, to be the light shining out upon what he is doing in your life today. The bond, the importance of relationships, the importance of this love is founded upon that core central piece, that example that you have founded your love upon. When he pours into you, and out of the overflow of that, you're pouring into other people. Listen, this is bound to be the greatest Valentine's Day you have ever had. Not because of a physical relationship you have with somebody else, but because of the spiritual relationship of the Father who loves you, who cares about you, who looks at you and sees something absolutely amazingly beautiful and gorgeous. So today I encourage you with this. If you're single, if you've been through a divorce, if you've been through something and you say, hey, that's not fun, I want you today to pour out love in every direction that you have. I want you to find a way to bless people that you probably shouldn't spend any time blessing because they have only hurt you. Because that's what unconditional love is. Don't let it be focused on something of the brokenness. Let it be focused on the goodness of what is coming and what lives in you. If you say to yourself, Kinsley, I don't have that. Listen, I want you to literally reach out to me wherever you're watching. Throw it in the comment section. If you say, I don't know what that unconditional love is, throw it in the comment section, message me directly, let me know, reach out to me. You can also email me at kinsley@thewinningnetwork.com. You can go to The Winning Network. If you don't know what that unconditional love is, I want you to reach out to me because I want to be able to help you find that. I'm not a dating service. I just know the one who shows unconditional love. That's it. Hey, listen, happy Valentine's Day. I'm going to go spend time with the kiddos before they go off to school this morning. I want you to know that we care about you. We love you. You are amazing. And there is something good stirring, brewing, happening in your life. So right here from Winning in the Morning, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being with us. Happy Valentine's Day. Let's get that love right today. Pouring out, encouraging people. There it is, right here this morning. Thanks for joining us right here. Have a blessed day. Show that love. We'll see you Wednesday.